The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
Hello, everybody. We're getting to the end of 2024. I want to greet everybody with a special holiday edition of Soul Decodes. My name is Dr. Tia Jolie Phillips, and I'm in my studio today at the Treehouse with Sarah Tirri. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Yes.
We got a lot to get caught up on.
Yes, we have.
Now, this is a special episode that you wanted to put together. What were some of the reasons you wanted to do a special
Well, before we
episode?
get to that, so hello listeners, we're recording this on the 14th of December, and this is going to air in 10 days from now. But I wanted to talk to you about something. So what the fuck is going on with all these drones? I mean, I was like, holy shit.
What a great way to open up a holiday.
And I have to tell you, yeah, we'll get into that. It does actually tie in a little bit.
Okay.
I'll weave that in. But Frank...
I never know what's going to happen with you.
Well, this is live as well. This is going on right now for the
Right.
listeners. So Frank called me. Now, Frank's my co-host on my radio station. You've talked to Frank.
Sure.
And he said to me, now he goes very deeply into conspiracy theories. And he said, and he gave a certain date in the future. And he said, we're going to be inundated with unidentified flying objects. What's it called now? Unidentified aerial phenomenon or something.
Yeah,
It's just
something,
weird. But a load of drones are up there. Now, I first went into more the science fiction realms of aliens and other planets and this being flying saucers. But it doesn't appear to be that. It appears to be drones, right? They don't look like the ones that come in and have cloaking devices. It doesn't look like future technology. It looks like technology that we possess. So I can't understand how we haven't sent a drone up to record what the other drone's doing and not shot it down. I'd want to shoot that fucker down, bring it back to base camp and find out what it is because we don't know. I mean, how is this not a national security issue?
So there's about 1,000 things I expected we'd talk about, and this is not one of them.
But it's been on my mind.
But it's important to you, it's probably, which means
well,
it's
it's
probably
kind
important
of
to other
odd.
people.
So what's your take on it?
Well, first of all, this is nothing more than an extension of the past 50 or 60 or 70 years. People don't know they're being lied to until it's egregious, till it's in your face. And this is just, I've been saying this for a while. This is about waking people up. And how do you wake people up? There's so many people in a slumber right now.
So you wake them up by shaking them out of their somnolence.
Well, I don't know.
So,
we've tried the gentle approach. We've tried.
When you're saying we, so what are these drones? Who's sending them? What are they doing there? And so the why is it's disrupting. It's getting us to just basically get out of the trance that we've been living.
To me, it's a microcosm of life. So this is Soul Decodes, right? So the idea is for you and me together to kind of have a conversation between two individuals, but also in a way that benefits the collective, right? I hate the word collective.
Very Borg. It's very Star Trek Borg.
Other individuals,
the hive
right?
mind, the collective.
So I don't think, So
the masses is even worse, so I tend to say that.
So the question to me is not about the drones or who they are.
Yeah,
or what
but I
they
just
are.
want to know. Can you give me? Is that what is that?
So first of all, everything is exactly as it's supposed to be.
Okay, well, that's good.
Okay.
And I kind of believe that too. Everything's happening for a reason.
Everything's exactly.
So chill out.
The problem is you and most people don't know the reasons. Right?
No.
Like, you don't know the reasons. But that's not what's important. What's important is that we're asking questions.
Yes.
This is when you look at the Socratic method, and for those of you who don't know what the Socratic method is, there's this cat, supposedly, that lived a long, long time ago. His name was Socrates, right? And the Socratic method is what most of the ancients used to teach their students. In this case, how do you raise their awareness? Well, if I were to tell you something like fast food is not good for you, right? It's very easy for you to not believe me. And we've been conditioned to look for the experts, right? So the experts are like, oh, fast food's just fine for you, right? So there's this years and years and years and years of, oh, smoking is fine for you. Oh, fast food's good for you. And all of this nonsense because it's coming from experts. So you're either going to believe nothing because it comes from a peer that's not an expert, or you've been trained to believe an expert, right? So that's where we are. People are going to discount what you say because you're not a so-called expert. Or they're not going to believe you because
I consider myself an expert after 25 years of fucking studying the same thing. Pretty much an expert. Don't have the formal PhD, but definitely the knowledge that would go into that. I could have 3 PhDs by now. So
okay,
definitely an expert, especially on my own mind.
So let's double back to that because I do have a PhD and I've got 3 other degrees. All right, so I've got 4 degrees. None of them mean anything. The only thing a PhD, I literally cried when I got my PhD. I looked at my spouse and said, I've never felt so stupid in my life.
Stupid?
Stupid.
That's a strange response. You didn't feel proud of yourself or anything? What do you mean stupid?
I'm not proud of myself.
Well, no, but
that's
you didn't.
An ego response.
No, it's not. You didn't celebrate your accomplishment. That's not ego. That's soul.
Well, what I'm sharing is this. What I realized when I got my doctorate done was how little I actually know.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
So, when people call me an expert, I push back on them.
I'm just beginning.
I've never called myself an expert.
Yeah.
The most dangerous pilots in the world are the ones who think they're really, really good. No, we're always.
So it humbled you. The more you did understand, the more you understood that you understood bugger all, basically.
I don't know.
So that's interesting. I kind of feel like that. There's so much more. Once you've penetrated it to a certain degree, then you realise that you're really ignorant. And I listen to a lot of intelligent people talk about very complicated subject matter. The more I listen, it's like, wow. I'm and years ago I wouldn't have said that. 25 years ago, I'd have been quite arrogant. I've got this and I know everything. And it's like, I'm just reduced at this point.
Well, let's take apart the word expert. X is a has-been. Spurt,
oh, yes.
Spurt is a small drip. So
a spurt. A spurt in a run could be a quick run. A spurt to me implies a quick burst of speed.
But either way, you're a has-been. And I don't want to be an expert.
So we don't want to be experts. We just want to be learners.
But I think we need
sharing information.
We need to be children. Children, knock, seek, and ask. Yeah. So when you look at the scientific method, during the whole scamdemic and all this stuff that went on, the whole idea that the science is settled, that's one of the most unscientific statements you can make.
Terrible.
The science is
the antithesis of what science is.
It's totally the opposite.
Yeah.
True science is never settled. No. We're always asking questions. We're always
reforming ideas and bringing in new ideas and getting rid of crappy old ideas.
Yeah, and that's how, if I'm building a team of people, let's just say I'm building out Phillips Island and I want to start some new and novel ways of doing permaculture. Well, yes, we can look back to all the old traditional ways, which there's some value to that. Looking backwards and learning from our antiquity and learning from our ancestors, there's value to that. But there's also value in tapping into Sarah's creative self, my creative self, the next person on the street that has an idea that's valuable, their creative self. So the whole idea of experts to me it's laughable. It's just laughable. So, but I do get these questions all the time about, what about these drones? Like, you're not the first person this week to ask me that.
So what is is this, who are these our enemies? Are these people looking to harm us, or are they, what is the, because my back's up immediately, but I do believe everything's happening for a reason. I do believe we're going to be forced to wake up, so I'm comfortable with this. But it's weird. So who do these drones belong to? The Chinese, the Russians?
So first of all, I don't have an inside track.
I know, but I'm just asking you to speculate.
I don't have the storybook. I don't have the script. But I do believe it's all for a purpose. My intuition.
You're not going to answer me, are you?
Well, I'm telling you my answer.
Okay.
I'm telling you my answer. The people who are putting those drones up are doing so to awaken
and are the people,
consciousness.
Are the people that are putting the drones out Americans?
I don't think it's relevant.
I know, but what do you suspect or speculate?
So my expectation is that it's a group of people that are outside of their ego self, and they're literally trying to wake up our consciousness.
So they're benevolent, these people.
Totally.
Yes.
I'm not afraid of this at all. Look,
what is it trying to stimulate within us?
So let's just war game this out. Let's just play this out. Number one, if they were coming to harm us and destroy us and stuff, why would they have these bright lights on announcing their presence? They would just drop their stuff, spray us with their little chemicals, whatever they're going to do, and just be done with us. Why the game? Are they trying to instill fear so they can suck fear energy out of us?
Or distract us? Is this a big distraction to get our minds off, more important matters?
But, okay, so let's just say it's a distraction. So what? Find peace, ground yourself.
Yeah.
Recognize that for what it is, it's a distraction, and keep your focus on what's important in your life.
Yes. On your inner world.
To me, this is, if we go into this earth space as if it's an academy, a training ground for our spiritual, our soulful development, this is just another chapter. It's another challenge. A year ago was the Chinese balloon gathering intelligence over the Americas. It's like, and what they probably found was nothing, because there's not much intelligence out there. There's a whole bunch of dumbasses out there. So there probably came up empty on that one, but waste of time. But no disrespect to our listeners.
So these benevolent souls are sending up expensive equipment with bright lights to be seen, to be noticed, in order to positively do what?
I think
just sounds like they're mind fucking us. Is all it sounds like.
To me, it's just the only thing that matters with the drones is the existence of the drones. So
it matters to me what the intention is of the people operating them.
The intention is attention.
And the attention's going on these drones in order to stimulate what within our minds?
Let's war game this out. Drones appear. This is the standard war game scenario. It's called the fog of war. You don't know what's true, what's false, good guy, bad guy. See movement. Is that the enemy? Is that the good guy? Friendly fire. This is all sorts of war game stuff all in one. So what we have to do is just take it apart and let's game it out. Let's just say they're good guys. Let's just say that whoever they are, they're good guys. What if they're Pleiadians?
I thought that, but I thought they wouldn't be coming in such, silly equipment. If they're from the Pleiades, they'd have a saucer and a cloaking device, and they'd be able to come through dimensions. These things hovering around, they're just clumsy.
Maybe we can't relate to their old technology. They're saying, "Hey, let's pull up some of that old stuff with the humans. Let's pull up some of that old stuff." And let's throw them, because they're not going to...
It doesn't look very spectacular. It looks clumsy.
Okay, so let's just... You do a lot of work with children, right?
I am a child.
I am a child too, right? So let's just... Because you've got your reading program and you've got the Children's Foundation and stuff. When you go speak to those children, you don't do so with PhD level words.
No.
You speak to them at their level. Mm-hmm. If you have an advanced consciousness, a civilization with advanced consciousness... You're going to not speak at their level. They're not going to understand 3-dimensional, 5-dimensional, 6, 7, 12-dimensional travel.
Yeah.
They're not going to understand. You have to present them
in what they can comprehend.
Words and terms and images that these people can understand, and not scare them. The idea is not to
blow their minds completely.
You're not supposed to scare them. You're supposed to wake them up.
Just rattle them a bit.
So let's give them something that they recognize, that they can ask questions about.
It'd be much more interesting if it is the Pleiades coming in to give us a helping hand. And in my book, Is This the Best God Could Do? I have a section. I'll have to find that, but I talk about that. Will they come and give us a helping hand at some point? So it could be an advanced consciousness race of people using primitive technology. I mean, a drone's not primitive to us. We've only recently invented them, right? And just mass. I mean, I'm sure they've been going on for years in the military, but that's a new technology for us. And they're coming in to rattle us in order to stimulate what within us? Because it's going to be fear at the moment. I don't live in fear of this. I think it's funny. But what is it that they're trying to do in order to compel us to wake up to something?
Well, I think fear is a mechanism, but I think the ultimate goal is to get us to ask questions.
Right. Simple as that.
Simple as that. Ask questions.
That's going to be so funny when I lead into what I'm talking about with the Christmas stuff here, because we can wrap this up, but it's what we're telling our children. You'll understand when I actually read this note. You'll understand what I'm talking about.
From my perspective, let's put a bow on this, because there are people who are very concerned about these unidentified things that are flying around. When we look back in history, there's the history that we've been told. I shouldn't even say the history we were told. It's his story. Somebody telling a story.
Yeah.
It's his story.
Yeah,
and it's not it's not being told, it's being sold. And the
greatest stories ever sold.
The greatest story ever sold. And when you look at
just Santa Claus, I think. But anyway.
Well, when we look back, Sarah, there's a lot of history that we look at.
Well, let's put a bow on this.
But there's actually ancient artwork and hieroglyphs that have flying saucers.
That's right.
So
yeah, and Ezekiel in the Bible, he was taken up in some.
We fancy ourselves. We fancy ourselves so novel and so advanced.
It's not linear anymore. The history is not a lower state to a higher state.
No, it's a wave. It's a wave.
Yes, it's a wave.
When we talk about the golden age and the dark age, we may just be coming out of a very dark age.
Yes.
And we may have a resurgence of a golden age.
Yeah, for sure.
That replicates what happened 24,000 years ago or something.
We don't know anything about 24.
We don't know that. So I look at this as very exciting. I'm almost like reading one of Sarah's books. It's like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next chapter?
Yeah.
Right? This is just another chapter.
So view it in the spirit of that then to the listeners. Don't get, don't let it... There is some element of fear. I'm not scared of it. I'm not really scared of anything.
I'm excited.
But I could understand people thinking, what the fuck? And what is this? And then going on the internet, uploading all sorts of fearful fear porn, and then getting themselves into a right mental state. And, I think agitation, we don't want to be agitated by this. We want to just be calm and just focus on our own little bubble and keep a mental presence. But there is something that you could think would be malevolent about it right out the gate. Like, what is this? Why haven't they announced their intentions? Why don't we know more? Why are they coming in airspace without permission? So there is a tendency for me to ask.
So when you speak in terms of airspace, let's just pretend you're an alien coming to...
I hope it's an alien coming down. That would be great.
Let's just say you're an alien coming to this. When you look at the continent, say, of North America, do you see a line that separates America from Mexico?
Yeah.
Or from Canada? There's no lines
that's a
there.
man-made thing,
you see mountains, you see lakes, you see a bunch of little people running around. There are no lines. So the idea that they're invading our airspace and stuff, that's a very human construct. When you think in terms of a visitor to this space.
Well, why wouldn't they announce themselves, though?
Why should they? And just because we don't hear them with our ears doesn't mean they haven't announced themselves. Why don't we listen with our hearts?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because my heart can send to receive information. I wonder if they're up there just surveying our hearts. We're saying we're coming into this holiday season.
To me, they could be much higher beings that come into this very low density and just view us like children being taken off to the slaughterhouse. That this is so horrific, and they're in these much more palatable realms. I'm like, what the fuck? Because this, to me, is a very low-density planet. There's so much torture and murder and disgusting shit going on, and they just might be, poking their noses in, thinking, like, can they even involve themselves with our affairs at the moment?
Right, and within the spirit of let's just talk in terms of do you like sports?
No.
Okay, I do. So let's just pretend like this is a training ground, a proving ground for souls, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they need to come and check in and see how people are doing.
But if they're that technologically advanced, why are they just going to be showing up in a drone? It's so weird.
But they don't
why don't they just come in a horse and buggy in that case?
But it's because they have to, if they are from some other realm, they have to relate to us. They don't need to show themselves. If this is like...
Wouldn't they be better off saying, listen, we come in peace from the Pleiades and we'd like to talk to some of your members, and whoever that would be, Trump could talk to them, right? But why wouldn't they? It's just like good manners.
There's people out there right now with their freaking high-powered rifles trying to take these things out of the sky. Can you imagine? It's like we come to save you. No, legitimately. Like,
well, don't say you're coming to save, because that implies there's something wrong with you. I'd never say that.
No,
we come in peace and we'd like to talk to you and we'd like to share our technology.
Whatever the case may be, we don't know their intentions, right? We don't know. So to pull out your high-powered rifle and just start picking these things
That's
off.
what Tony would do. Boom, boom, boom. Have a nice dream.
That might have been your ticket out of this place.
I know.
They might have been like, they might be surveying your heart. They might be just literally being able to scan your heart and find the beautiful, crystal clear, beautiful hearts like Sarah's that resonates, that's bringing forth love into the world, and say, oh, finally, we got one that's blooming, and pull you out and take you to a much nicer place. Right?
I don't want to be pulled out by someone else that thinks they know what's best for me.
But what if you can come out? Well, it would be an agreement, right?
Yeah, of course it would. Yeah, don't you come near me until I give you my
well, Robin and I talk about this a lot. It's like, what if that happened? Like,
but beam me up and take me out of this hellhole. I understand the psychological need for that, and that's what a lot of the Christians believe in an afterlife. They believe in heaven, and they believe that Jesus is coming back, and the sooner the better for them, so they can just get the hell off this stinking planet and get to paradise. So I'm not necessarily, I mean, we're here to do something.
Well, and I'd put forth that perhaps this is paradise, and we just don't, right? Maybe the whole journey
paradise
here,
in the making.
The whole journey here is for us to recognize that the kingdom of God is within us. Then heaven is within us. This is just a school class. This is a classroom.
Yeah, it's a training ground.
The nature, the heavens above, all this.
And you're training yourself to manifest the reality you want. That's what we're training ourselves to do. And we do it with our mind, sharpening our focus.
Right. And just because somebody, let's just say these people want to, let's just say this.
The Palladians.
Let's say this.
I hope they land right here, right now. Wouldn't that be funny?
I got a landing zone for them already.
Yeah, we should do that. Come on down.
It's already set
Come
up.
on down and enjoy the podcast.
I've already put out a beacon for them so they can go. But Robin and I have already talked. We gameplay this. We role play this. And if we ever were invited to leave this dimension, we've already said that the answer would be immediately yes.
Yes.
As long as my intuition said they're benevolent, and I had the reciprocating capability of coming back to see the people I love when I want to. So like our children.
How would you appear in their lives if suddenly you're off the planet?
However I want.
You could come in their dreams or something, or they wouldn't see you. Because...
Well, the question you're asking is based on what we currently know about our current skills. Right? So you're asking the question based on what we think, what we know about our current capabilities. But what if they said, okay, Sarah, congratulations, you're done with first grade. Now you're a baby soul. You're entering, or maybe you're done with grade school as a soul.
Yeah.
Because your soul's in this journey. You just graduated from elementary school. We're going to take you to middle school now. And your soul's going to go on this new journey. And you're going to meet other souls that are similar to you. And it's not going to be as rough as Earth, but it's going to be different. And you can come back to Earth and visit your elementary school anytime you want. It won't be in the form you are, but you can come and visit. And you'll be able to visit during dreams, visit through nature. You'll be able to visit your people. And they'll be able to intuit if they want to. If they want to connect with you, you'll be able to connect with them.
So it's going to be a broader way of communicating.
It's more of a broad, because remember, just like I said in the beginning,
if you're here to be of service to people, and an alien came down and said, okay, I'm going to take you onto another dimension, you've outgrown the need for this, you'd go. You wouldn't say, well, what was my, why am I here in the first place? No, I'll stay and I'll bring ideas, which is what we're doing now, and I'll sweat it out. Because I think it would be very nice to get off this planet, because it's quite hardcore. So this idea of being saved and then them coming, say, oh, come on to the next level, Sarah. I'm not sure about that.
Well,
I think I'd want to be inclined to go, but then I'd also be inclined to ask myself, well, why are you here? Shouldn't you stay around?
Well, I think you and I have had these discussions before. Like, I don't know why I'm here again. I know I've been through this space before. Maybe I failed before because I was, I don't know, killing people or something. I don't know, probably.
You're probably Genghis Khan or something.
I was like destroying nations or something. Maybe but I think that this time I definitely wanted to be here. I'm excited about the next 24 months. I think it's going to be an amazing time to be here and experience what we're about to experience as individuals and as a group of individuals. I'm not going to say collective.
That's good. You caught
yourself. A group of individuals.
Yes.
But I do believe that this is a training ground. we're proving ourselves, not to somebody else, but to ourselves in our own contract. I've had several people just today. I got news that a girlfriend of mine was T-boned by a truck a month ago. She's got a bunch of broken bones. She's really struggling. She was in the hospital for 3 weeks. So I had a discussion with her. I'm going to go pick up her. I got to do some logistics for her because she's really in a bad place. So I'll do that probably Monday. But, all of us go through this stuff, and it's not what happens to us. It's how we respond to it. So we're going to have all sorts of, and what happens
We're also creating it, though, so we're going to have to respond to our own creations because this is all happening through our minds projecting on to this reality. It's our vibration being mirrored back to us. So we're creating reality and we're required to respond to our creation.
So a couple of years ago, I used to do these, what they call the Sudoku puzzles, the number puzzles. And it would take me a really, really, really long time to finish one puzzle, even if it was just medium or easy. I got to the point where I could do the expert Sudoku in 5, 6, 7 minutes, right? Just rifle through it. And as soon as I got really, really good at it, I became bored with it. In the mornings, every morning I go to LinkedIn because I'm big on LinkedIn, and there's games you can play. There's 4 games. One of them is logic, one's words, one's like spatial. There's 4 games. You can do them all 4 in like less than 10 minutes. They're just boom, boom, boom. Those are new games for me. I'm learning to master those skills. And as soon as I do, and I'm not bragging, but I almost, out of the whole country, I finished first place on at least one of them every single day.
Nice.
So I'm getting really good at those. Yeah. But there will be a point where I get bored with those. And then I'll go on to other games. Not to say that
Which is a metaphor for life generally, isn't it?
It is. It's not to say that what we're going through is a game, because people get hurt.
I think I think it's like the holodeck in Star Trek. It's the holodeck with the safety protocols off. So you can see it as a game. Nothing bad is ever going to happen to us because we'll come out of these bodies because our soul exists independently. But it's hardcore. This feels real. I mean, if I were to put my hand on a hot stove, that is going to really suck.
Exactly.
I think it is good to view it as a game to some degree. I think it's healthy to do that. I think you can detach from the hardcore perspective by seeing it as a game. It works for me. And The Mirror World, one of my books, and the metaphor is a virtual reality game, and that really helped me understand what we're doing here. So I like it as a game. But you're right, it's a very serious game. Yeah,
and so I'll wrap it up with this: that I've got a friend of mine. About a year ago, I think I told you the story of a friend of mine. He was stage 4 kidney disease. He was on a transplant list. Did I tell you that story?
I think so. I'm not sure, though. It's not
stage 4 kidney disease on a transplant list. After 5 weeks, I brought him from stage 4 down to stage 2 by teaching him about how amazing he is, changed his diet, changed some things. 2 months ago, he reported in he's got 0 kidney disease, and his blood is perfect.
That's fantastic.
So he's come in 13 months. He's come to
what an example. I mean, it's miraculous, isn't it?
So.
Good for him.
So he overcame that.
You need to interview him on air.
He went through a nasty divorce. He's licking his wounds from that. He overcame a drug addiction. He overcame alcohol addiction. He's overcome a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Now, he's about our age.
But he's chosen to put himself through that.
But now he's at a place where he's struggling with depression. He's looking backwards at his life, saying, every time I do something, I get my ass kicked.
Yeah, but you don't want to. If you decree that over your life, that will play out.
But that's what I told him. I said,
God.
I told him I won't use his name, but I said,
very powerful.
Listen to what listen. You've been through this, and you've overcome them. This journey through this earth space has nothing to do with the world around you. This is you versus your future self. This is you versus you. And he's a Christian, and I said, your Jesus figure says that the kingdom of God is within you. So you can continue to try. The world around you is going to kick your ass. It's going to. This is about you learning to deal with that and come, regardless of what happens to you, finding the blessing, finding the grace, give
But
space
he's living
for
with
grace.
too much regret and it's bogging him down.
Well, he's looking
What
backwards.
If? Yes, exactly.
He's looking
Terrible.
backwards instead of forward.
Yeah.
And that's where it's all metaphoric, because if you look
And
back
it's
over your
melancholy
shoulder,
as well, because you're wanting things to be different than they were, and
make them different.
Yeah, do it now.
If you look
yeah.
over your shoulder, you turn
Does
to...
he? Is this? Are you having an effect on him for him to view himself differently?
Well, I think the effect I have on people is, I used to get sucked into their drama.
Yeah,
but I
can't do
don't.
that, no,
I just
don't
ask them
either.
questions like, well,
Yeah.
what are your options? What is your next step? And I speak power into them.
That's good. Yeah.
It's like, look at the amazing things you've overcome, and you're just getting started.
One of the things you sent me a TikTok video a couple of days ago, and I'm going to check this guy out. I actually saw him in another video last night. And one of the things that he said, and it's what I wrote in my bio, it was interesting, and that he said he had experienced many different psychiatric states, and he listed them. And I did that in my bio. So this guy, he could have been choosing this, but he sees himself as a victim of wrong decisions. What if he changed his perspective and he saw himself, okay, I've done this for a reason. I needed to experience cancer. I needed to experience a shitty divorce. I needed to experience regret. And he sees it from this being a training ground and more evolving into something positive. And it's necessary to go through the shit in order to flush out bad ideas and come through it. But he's viewing it. He's a Christian, you say. He's viewing this. I don't know whether he's believing it's the work of the devil, but he's not seeing it from a powerful perspective. He's seeing it from being a victim to his own wrong decisions. That is going to cause more of the same unless he gets out of that. You've got to see yourself as the creator and as a powerful being, and then you can embody that, and that will get reflected back to you. So, but all of this he could have chosen, but he's not seeing that he's chosen it, because in the Christian way of thinking, you haven't chosen your life. Nothing came before. You were just a fresh soul being born. You get one life and then you go to heaven. So it's difficult if you're a Christian to see the bigger picture, but you need to pull back and just see the big panorama, not this postage stamp view.
Yeah, I think that if you come into this earth space, it's because you volunteered to be here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And if you volunteered to be here, it's most likely because you needed your soul. You needed to experience some things. You needed your soul to be polished. You know, maybe it's some rough edges.
Yeah,
you just need to be polished.
Polish a diamond.
You know,
diamond in the rough.
For me, you know, maybe I needed to be humbled in certain ways, or I needed to learn how to forgive people, because I've been transgressed by virtually everybody in my world. Except for you. I'm just waiting for it.
I'm so jaded.
So I'm a little bit jaded. No, but I've already forgiven everybody. Like,
oh, you're pre-forgiveness.
You're already forgiven. Even if you
well, Jesus said that, didn't he? The
It's
last
like
thing he said, he was, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And that's the last thing he said before he died. So
okay, I'll go with that,
very
because,
important.
but I think that's a major lesson, because I'm in this earth space.
It's mandatory.
I'm not worried about the next person that transgressed me, because even if they do, I'm going to respond with blessing, with words of affirmation, powerful words.
Yeah, calm.
I've also learned to not speak to their flesh and blood. I've learned to speak to their soul.
Great.
And that's all I was doing this morning with my friend, is just speak to his soul.
Yeah.
Say, well, what's next for you? You've got this. You're powerful. You're beautiful.
Yeah. He's
this.
got to have a much better platform of self-worth.
He'll be there, because that's what the system.
Well, it could be a young soul. It could be, level 2.
I think you're right. Okay, so let's move over to, this is a holiday thing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we should do, because what we should do, let's just put this out as the Pallades episode, and then we'll record the Christmas one immediately after this.
Well, wait a minute. So
we're like 40 minutes into this. But I've got a lot to say. But the Christmas one is actually going to tie into this really nicely. So
this will be, we'll call this pre-Christmas. And then
pre-Christmas, there we go.
So this will be pre-Christmas, and then we'll do
I think this should be called the drone episode.
The drone. No, drone. If it was a drone episode.
The Pallades.
No, if it was a drone episode, we would have to speak with no inflection and go on for hours and hours and hours.
Oh, just drone.
Just drone and on. Yeah, that would be the drone.
Let's try one. See how long we last.
Okay, so...
Well, it's lovely talking to you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so we're going to go from this...
The next one will be the Christmas one.
So do y'all remember when you were... Well, maybe it didn't apply to you, but when I was a child, we used to be anticipating Christmas because there was gifts under the tree and all this stuff. Well, you thought that this was the holiday episode, but it wasn't. It's a day early, and you just missed it. So now you're gonna have to wait until the actual holiday to get your gift. So that'll be next time we meet. Any closing thoughts before we actually do our real holiday party?
Yeah, I want to know more about the drones.
Well, we're not going to know in the next 30 minutes.
I'm ready to. We'll talk about drones if it comes up. If they shoot them down, I want to find out what we're being told about them. But let's close this one and go on to the Christmas one, because I've got so much that ties into this one.
Okay, that's great. But I'm going to ask people, don't shoot down the drones.
Don't shoot the drones, no.
Because you don't know who's good and bad. And if you piss them off and they want to open up on us, we're all going down.
Well, I don't think we should shoot them down if they're aliens, but I just don't think we should shoot them down. But it would be tempting to do that from an animalistic standpoint, to send in reconnaissance at least and find out why they're in our airspace and what they're doing. But I'm quite prepared to be friendly. But I think not now. Anyway, we circle back to it, so I'll just pull out of my drone mentality.
I was so excited about our holiday special.
Well, it's coming up.
Okay. Y'all, hang in there. You'll find out what's next from Sarah Tirri. So my name's Dr. Phillips. Please do us a favor. Go to souldecodes.com. If you want to make a comment or send us an email or drop us a message, we read everything.
That'd be lovely.
Thanks a lot for being part of our
Thanks, guys.
Part of our worlds. Be well.
Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skin care, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri, or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.